Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Just Two Brothers podcast, where we will be sharing our journey so far and some of the simple tactics we've learned that have helped us become great leaders.
Welcome back, everyone. Hey, Ryan.
What's going on, Joe?
Living the dream. Testing out some new audio equipment. Getting that all set up, and
I know it's been a fun couple of weeks for us.
we've been making some changes, upgrading some equipment, and trying some new stuff out. So, speaking of new things to try out, we have a guest tonight. Tiffany,
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Tiffany is Ryan's wife. She's a mother of two wonderful young women and raising a family, been through all sorts of fun experiences in life and fought through a divorce and raising two kids together with my brother, which is no small feat. And I know for a fact that causes some anxiety and some stress in itself of dealing with some Mapeses. And we have a request for today's episode, and that's the reason that Tiffany's here. And my daughter, Aria, had asked if we could do an episode about worrying because she is a chronic worrier. So we wanted to bring a resident expert on and and get some thoughts. Ari has some questions that she has prepared for me to ask you, and we would just like to get to know you a little bit more. And we've talked about you on the podcast several times, so whoever's listening has likely heard your name and knows we joke about you and how much we love you, and we're glad to have you here.
I'm excited to be on. I appreciate you guys asking me, and I think it's going to be good. I think it'll be good for me. Just to talk about some of my worrying and maybe have you guys ask some questions that'll maybe help me, help Aria, help anybody. So I'm excited. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
And yes, I have a lot of worries, so let's get this shit show
I know,
it's because
funny.
holy crap, where do you want to start?
It's been funny because she's been worried about this all week. Ever since we've asked her,
Yeah.
she's wanted to know what the questions were ahead of time so she could be ready because she's worried about it. So it's just funny.
Let me tell Aria heart to heart. Aria, Aunt Tiffy is a great big worry wart. That's all I do is worry.
She knows it, and you guys have talked, and we've talked in the past before, and I've come to you for suggestions on how to work with her on her concerns and how much she does worry. And
It's not easy, and I'm 45 sitting here talking about it, so good for her for even wanting to listen to this.
yeah. So I've known you for how many years? How many years have you guys been together?
13.
13 years. That's what I thought. So I've known you for 13 years. I'm not going to lie. I don't know much about your life prior to your divorce and being into Ryan's life. So I'm curious, how far back can you remember being a chronic worrier, someone that worried all the time? Is that something that's been in your life since you were a kid, since you were Aria's age? Or is that something that has kind of fallen into place as time went on, as you experienced more in life?
To be honest, Joe, I've never honestly thought about how far back it goes and when, but my very first thought that came to my mind was like, no, as a kid, everything was good and I played and I was normal. When did the worrying start? As soon as my parents got divorced. Like, that was my very first thought. right there. When did my worrying start? When my parents got divorced.
Because your foundation was rocked.
Before that, all I remember is playing and having a home and riding bikes, and there was no worry. I guess that is my very first. That was my very first thought. My worrying started when I was a teenager and my parents got divorced.
How old were you?
I was 10 when my parents got divorced. I moved out of my mom's house at 14. I lived on my own from 14 to 17. Dropped out of school my senior year. Moved in with my dad at 17. Went back to school, got my GED, and got married at 19.
So you raised yourself from the time you turned 10.
Pretty much.
So why did they get divorced?
My parents it was just not good.
No, when?
Oh, my parents got divorced when I was 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
So I guess if I sit here and think that's my first thought.
Okay.
Yep. And yeah, like you said, probably just the foundation's rocked, the fighting starts, and I can say fighting and everything starts because I am a divorced parent, and that was something you and Ryan can both say, like, I didn't want to fight. I didn't want my kids to see that. I didn't want my kids to feel that, because that's when you start getting the who loves me, who do I go with, you know what I mean? When does worrying start? Like, you know what I mean? And so that's my first, that would be it. And from that point on, then I probably just worried. To be honest, I can tell you, just to get this started, what don't I worry about? Like, I worry about my marriage, my family, my husband. Am I a good enough wife? Am I pretty enough? Am I a good enough mother? Am I a good enough employee? Am I going to have my job tomorrow? Do I have enough money in the bank? Do the bills get paid? Is the house clean? Like, what don't I worry about now? Do you know what I mean?
That sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting. It's beyond exhausting. And there's days that I go to bed crying at night and say to Ryan, I'm just exhausted.
Yeah.
Because I can truly 100% say from the time I get up in the morning until the time I go to bed at night, I worry. Do I not?
Yeah. You've gotten a lot better lately. But
I have gotten better because now I'm doing things to work on myself and work on that, but I'm 44 and I'm still a shit show. You know what I mean?
We all are, until we decide that we're tired of being a shit show.
Which is why we're working on ourselves. Exactly. Right. You know, you worry, are you a good enough friend? Did you do good enough in school? What does everybody else think about you? What does everybody else think about what I'm wearing today? What does everybody think about my husband? What does everybody think about my kids? Like, what doesn't run through my brain?
I got to stop a second here, because I just had a pretty big revelation while that conversation was going on. The last week since you brought up this episode, I've tried to think of questions to ask. And I came up with some, but I had a hard time thinking of much to ask about worrying, because I don't really worry.
Right.
There are things I'm concerned about, and I can have a lot going on, but I'm truly never worried about anything. Somehow, some way, I know it's going to work out. It just always does. One way or another, throughout my entire life, no matter what has happened, it's always worked out. I may have hit some rock bottoms, but it's always worked out. But I've never worried. And as I've gotten older, that philosophy has gotten stronger, and Tiff can speak to that because she hates it when I say it.
I get so mad at him because I can be so frustrated and like so worked up, and he's just like, babe, it's okay. Take a deep breath. It'll be fine. And I'm like, I'm going through the roof over here.
So I throw something at you. Shut up.
But so I truly don't worry. And that's what I've continued to think throughout this whole week of brainstorming for this episode. And when you were just talking and you said all you can remember before your parents getting divorced was playing, but then that was when you started worrying. So is that a moment in a child's life that can trigger that? And is that why I don't worry?
Probably.
Because we didn't have to deal with that.
Your parents aren't divorced.
I didn't experience a trauma, I guess, in my childhood. So is that why I truly don't worry about shit? Not a damn thing. Everything it will work out. It always does.
And you kind of have that attitude too, though, Joe. Like, could it be?
So, how much would you believe me if I told you that that's not true at all, and I worry about shit all the fucking time? Tiffany, you are a chronic people pleaser.
Oh, yes.
You
I
will do
whatever
anything
I have
to make
do
everybody
to
else
please
happy.
Somebody. Yep.
It
is at all expense. It is at all cost of myself too. Like I will, and yeah, yep.
You put
Anything
yourself
to
last.
please there is no me. And that's one of the biggest things Ryan and I are working through right now. There is no me. I'm nobody. If you're happy, Joe, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
If Ryan's happy, I'm happy. If Jen's happy, I'm happy. But what made me happy? Nothing. Don't matter. You guys are happy. I can be miserable, stressed out, worried all day. But if you three are happy, I'm happy.
See, and that's the mentality that I had throughout my marriage was, if she's happy, the kids are happy, I don't fucking need to be happy. And I mean, I never cared about myself. I did whatever I could to just make sure everybody else was comfortable and happy. I tried not to rock the boat with a lot of people just because it was easier than fighting with people. And I worried constantly about what other people thought of me. I just put on a front that said, I don't really give a fuck. But that was never really the case. I cared more about what everybody else thought than I wanted to admit. And that made me overcompensate, I would say, in that aspect. So
probably what I do.
So I can't say that I've never worried, because I worry about shit all the fucking time. I have to catch myself constantly and tell myself that everything's going to be okay, and that I've proven time and time again that I will take care of shit, and I got to stay level-headed, because I can't freak out because everybody else around me needs to make sure that I'm calm and can handle myself. So that's where I think I worry, but I worry internally. I will internalize all of my concerns, all of my worries, and I will let everybody else know that I have it under control, or tell them that I do, while inside I'm having a complete fucking meltdown. And that was my experience with that. Now, we grew up with a mom who worries about fucking everything. So I can't say that it has to be from
if you can
a divorce
say that's
or
an
anything.
understatement, it is.
What, that she worries about everything?
Yes.
Oh, God. It's awful sometimes. But we grew up with that, so I can't say that, like, I mean, if I got anything like that, I would have to say it's caught from behaviors around me growing up, instead of my foundation being rocked. But I saw a mom who worried about fucking everything, and that's just how life was.
And that's now that you say that, that's probably why Ryan deals with me so well, because I do have a lot of your mother's traits, and we all know that. Everybody has said it. So he's used to the worrying, and yet your dad tolerates it pretty well too. And Ryan has a lot of patience with your mom, and always has kind of, I don't want to say this mean, but like cared and coddled her feelings because she is sensitive. So he does it to me too. Where he doesn't get rocked from it because, no. See, I could see that, and I think that.
I'm saying I don't. Oh. I'm saying I don't get rocked from it.
I know you don't, but anyways, I'm surprised, Joe. I kind of figured, like, for the most part, you just rolled with it. Not a lot would bother you. So I'm surprised. I didn't know that.
Shit bothers me all the time. I am constantly worried about things, constantly thinking about things. But I have to keep a level head. Mm-hmm. Because if I didn't, I would have kids that were unsure about what was going on. I would have work that was unsure about what was going on because I'd be panicking and freaking out all the time. I can't do that.
That's probably the only one regret that I have with you saying that is, like, I wish I would have known now, or would have been more prepared for when my kids were younger, because I have 2 kids that worry because they've watched mom worry. You know what I mean? Like Jen and Abby, they are so much like me. It's crazy. And as soon as I say I'm changing and I don't worry about this anymore, they stop worrying about it. Where, you know, like you said, your kids will pick that up, where my kids have picked those up. And I wish I would have known now back then. You know what I mean? And
you
not
wish
been
that,
so bad.
You wish that, but at the same time, is it fair to say that because you've experienced it, you're the most qualified person to help your daughters through it too? Because as you keep learning how to manage it, you said you share with them, like, I don't worry about that anymore because of this, and they stop. You can teach them all of that. So as long as you're working on it, they're going to keep improving too. So you can be an example for them in that aspect.
Which I am now, and it works. But as a mother, it just sucks to see them worry. You know what I mean? Because you're like, don't worry about that. You know what I mean? You just are like, I know how little that is now. And so I don't want to see them go through that. But
especially when Aria comes to me with worries, most of the time it's stuff like, just let me handle it. Let me worry about it. This is nothing a little girl should even be concerned about. Why are you even worried about it? Trust in me as the father that I'm going to handle what I tell you I'm going to handle. I will take care of it. Everything will be okay. Just constantly reassuring her that everything's going to be okay. But it's so hard to get her to see that sometimes, and it's hard to not get frustrated, but it's like, God, I love you so much, but you just got to trust me.
And I can see that right now, especially with her. I can, like I said, I guess I kind of am seeing, like, I guess when I started with the worrying, it was around her age. And then you think about, when did my kids start worrying and what was their ages in life? And she's at that age. She's growing up, she's turning into a little girl, and her brain's going crazy. And she's just watching the world and trying to put it all together.
Do you know any, not to make this a gender thing, but do you know any women that don't have any worries, that don't worry at all, that aren't chronic worriers? Because my ex-wife is the same way, worried about fucking everything, and there's so many commonalities with that, I guess, that I've seen in. Is it more common in women, I guess? Do you think it is? Do you know any women that are less worried?
I guess I don't know if I'm going to answer this, if it makes any sense, because I want to try to be careful on how I answer this, but I feel like the people that I know that do worry in the same aspects that I don't know how to answer this and what I want to say.
However,
I see that the people that worry like I do are usually the people that want a good life. They want to be a good wife. They want to be a good mother. They want to be a good employee. They want to be good friends. They just want to be good people. And the people that I know that don't worry, they don't give a fuck. They don't pay their bills.
they're selfish.
They don't give a shit what their kids are doing. Half of them are out going to fucking jail. Like those. And so how do I say that right now? I can't. You know what I mean? But that's the difference in what I see. Like,
Yeah.
The people that worry are I want to be all those good things. The people that don't worry, they don't give a shit. They don't care if they're a good wife. They don't care what their kids are doing. They don't care if their bills are paid. They don't give a shit about anything. They're just there. So.
Can you think of any women that don't worry, though? Your mom doesn't really worry, does she?
My mom.
Outside of normal, like, bills, I would say. But Joe, would you agree?
Who's
Outside
that?
of normal bills?
Like,
Worrying to the extent of outside of normal bills.
For like us? Or
For
who?
me.
Answer your question. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, outside
Bringing
of
it
normal,
back.
outside of the normal stuff, like
Okay.
worried about constant, the people pleasing, worried about what people are thinking, worried about what bad things are going to happen.
Worrying like you do.
I would not say everybody, no.
Do you know other women who do? Who are, like, your mother doesn't worry like that,
My
right?
mom does not worry like that. I do know a couple of my girlfriends worry like I do, and we all kind of joke about it. Like it's almost comical because we know how ridiculous we are, and it's the truth. Like at the end of the day, I know how ridiculous I've made my day, and at the end of I'm the only one that has done that, and I can't change it, you know, but yeah, I have a lot of friends that don't worry at all and they don't care, and I have some that do worry just like me.
Are there any similarities that you notice between you guys? Like when you get to talking, do you have anything in common?
I have two girls that I'm thinking of right off the top of my head. And the one girl, she's very sweet and she's very, very nice. And she's very, very much a people pleaser. And she is a worrier. And I have the other girl that I'm thinking of right off the top of my head that, like, I love her and we have so much fun talking and everything. Like, she is my favorite fucking friend because that's her favorite word, just like me. So, like, and we have fun joking and talking and we have a lot in common, but she's not a worrier. But she's, I guess, yeah, do you see the difference though? Like, she's.
But, okay, so I noticed you mentioned people pleaser again, so that does seem to be something in common.
Yeah,
Wouldn't say
because
that I'm not a people pleaser, but
You're not a
you've
people
never given
pleaser.
a fuck. You've
You're
never
not a
given
people
a shit.
pleaser at all. Don't even try to sugarcoat it on here.
to an
Like,
extent,
I'm
though.
sorry. I'm not
Don't
trying
make it
to
out,
be mean.
Don't make it out like that,
You're
though.
you're not a bad person and you're not an asshole,
Thank
but you're also not, like, if somebody
No.
doesn't like you, they don't like you. But I
Yeah.
will go out of my
Yes.
way to
I've-
figure out why
yes.
somebody doesn't like me and can I change their mind, and then I will dwell on, well, why didn't they like me? And you're just like, okay, move on to the next dude down the road that might not like me.
Yep. Yes. Okay. Just wanted to make that clear.
Can I ask you something, Tiff, that it can be off? We can edit it out too.
Sure.
Do you feel like you're enough?
Joe, did you see my new tattoo?
No.
I am getting a tattoo on my arm right here this weekend that says, I am enough.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Just as a reminder?
Yeah. And that is, and I'm probably going to cry. Like, that is something that I do have to work on. And Ryan knows it, and it is what it is. But, like, I'm not enough. And I know that, like, yeah.
Tiff, you know we love you
I know.
for
and I know.
everything that you are, and you are more than enough, right?
And
I've
I
tried
know
to tell her that.
but
I'll take you exactly as you are for the rest of my life. I could care less.
and Joe, this
I want
is,
you to be happy,
but
but
and this is where, like, yeah, we can edit this, and this is where, like, that is just my own insecurity that I do have to get over from the beat down in life of that I'm not enough, and your own
I
shit
don't want to add any of this.
got to
though.
deal
This is
with.
good.
You know what I mean? Like, am I a good enough friend? Well, if I was, why don't my friends call me? Like, if I was a good enough wife, then why have I been divorced? And, like, if I'm a good enough mom, then why are my kids bad? And if I'm a good enough, like, I can play this what if all day long, which is why at the end of the day, I don't care about me. Like, if my husband is happy and my kids are happy, then my job is done for the day, because I am a wife and a mother, and those are my duties, and that's all that matters to me. And so I'm okay. And I have to work on that, which was one of the, I made some improvements to myself over the last couple years that people don't know about. Like, it's time for me, and that's what I'm doing now. Like, I'm trying to realize that, like, I do matter.
It's fucking hard, isn't it?
It's really hard, and I am really struggling because I don't know what to do, because it's not about me, and it is about me right now, and Rye's pushing it to be more about me, and I don't know what to do because it's, for 45 years, it's never been about me. And I say that all the time, like, do I worry Rye will leave me? Like, why wouldn't he? You know, like, will my kids ever leave me and go to their dad? Why wouldn't they? Like, but why am I so hard on myself?
What if I told you I was the same fucking way for at least 29 years of my life, and it's only since my divorce and dealing with all of my shit and psychedelics and therapy that I've been able to work through shit. I hated myself for the longest fucking time, and all I wanted was people to like me. I would have done anything just to be liked by people. But I didn't feel like I fit in with anybody. I didn't feel like I could be true with anybody. I didn't feel like if I showed up as myself, I wouldn't be enough for anybody. And that's something I fought with for years. So I get that. It's hard. It sucks. It's hard to learn to love yourself when you've been taught that everybody else needs to be loved first.
Yeah.
Where you feel that way.
Yeah. It's different. It's hard. And I can fit in anywheres, and I can make friends anywheres, but I don't know as if I truly ever feel like I can 100% genuinely be myself still, even to this day.
Which sucks.
Yep. But somebody always has something to say about, I kiss my kids' ass too much. I do too much for them. I cater to Ryan. I mean, somebody always has something to say. You know what I mean? Like, why are you still working? Why do you clean like you do? Like, it's always something. So at the end of the day, you always have to somewhat put up walls. I don't feel like it matters what I do. Somebody has something to say. And yet if I'm
You just
happy,
block it out.
why do people have to say anything? So then I overthink that and worry about it because
People are jealous.
why did they say that to me? Why did they say that to me? Why did they just say that to me?
Because they're jealous.
Well, I've asked you why you won't just sit down sometimes, but it's because we want you to just relax. We want you to enjoy time. Like, you deserve to sit down and relax too, just as much as everybody else. But we know that's not you, but we love you for being you. So
I have gotten better about sitting down, but yeah, I feel like sitting down is lazy. I am busy, busy, busy. I got things to do. I got places to be, and I am like 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. You go, go, go. And I'm not a sit down person. My mom says that watch a movie. I'm like, I can't sit. That's lazy. But that is one thing I've been working on myself of trying to take that time because I'm kind of struggling right now because I don't know what to do with my time. So I am trying to make time to just sit down and say, I don't need to be exhausted every day. I did my puzzles. You know what? I'm trying to be better at that because I just exhaust myself, which causes more worry.
And you don't need to work yourself to burnout. I need to remind myself of the same fucking thing. We all do sometimes. Some of us.
Yeah.
Some of us,
Yeah.
it's easier for us to relax, but not me. I know you're sitting next to somebody who has no problem relaxing when he can. But he also busts his ass when it comes down to it, so.
Don't worry.
Speaking of someone that doesn't worry, I thought of this as you guys were talking earlier. Does having someone around you that is grounded or more centered with themselves and doesn't worry, does that seem to help or cause more frustration for you?
Both. Poor Ryan. Anybody listening to this, you guys really should feel bad for him because life is not always. And this is coming from his wife. Please
I'm
feel
not
bad
gonna
for
lie,
him
this
at
is-
times.
This is my favorite episode so far.
So
I'm enjoying this. So
It has been fun so far.
sometimes Ryan is very good. Depending on what I'm worrying about, he can be very good and just let me worry and let me be because he knows at the end of the day I'm going to worry about it. And then there are times that I have worried and snowballed into a hot crying mess. And then that's really when I rely on him to step in and say, okay, Tiff, take a step back and let's think about this. Like, what's going on? What do you have going? And as much as I get frustrated with him and usually pretty angry because I don't want to listen to his lecture, I do need it. And I do take a step back and then I settle down.
how
I hate that you call it a lecture.
Because I feel like it is a lecture because when I am going to you and you're like, babe, take a deep breath and let's think about this because, and I'm like, I just want to scream right now. Like, I don't want to be lectured and told to calm down, but I need it. So yes and no. I like it, but there's times that I don't. And I have also learned sometimes when I'm worrying, I just need to vent about my worry and then I'm okay.
Yeah. Now, to play the devil's advocate with that, if he was the opposite way and he worried just as much as you did, how long do you think your marriage would last?
I think my marriage would last just fine because I love him, but I'd probably be dead by now because I for sure 100% would have had a heart attack. Like, there are times that I'm like complete panic, freak out mode because I am worrying. So if he worried, I worry that much more because that's my job. It's my job to keep.
Are there any other couples out there that have this same dynamic? I'm curious. Let us know.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it's a very common
Carry on,
dynamic.
sorry.
I think there has to be somebody that stays grounded.
I was going to say, I don't know how it would work if I had the same level of panic. We wouldn't do anything. We would walk in a circle all day because we're too terrified to do anything.
Your house would be like the equivalent of an airplane going down that's on fire with no engines and
No
crashing.
pilots.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't even know. Yeah. Like,
everybody's losing their shit and it is going down fast.
I worry, terribly worry. And I mean, there has been times that I can worry myself to legitimately be sick. I mean, I can be sick. I have worried so much. I don't sleep. I can't eat. I will be sick. But
bathroom issues.
yeah, like over nothing. But like if Ryan says, "Oh, I'm worried about that," or just if I even pick up a vibe of it, I am in panic mode like nobody's business because he doesn't worry, so I have to try to fix it that much. I have to figure out a way to make that worry go away. So I am so thankful he's not like that, because I don't know what I would do. I truly don't know what I would do.
Do you feel like worrying about things has ever helped you? Or do you think it causes more harm than good all the time?
99% of the time it causes more harm than good. The worrying is over nothing. And I did say that to Ryan. He had me read a book, and I had said in the book, the guy had mentioned, like, how much of your day do you spend worrying, and how many hours was that, and
I think that's the Dale Carnegie one.
Yes.
How to stop worrying and start living. I love that book.
yes, and in that book he had mentioned at one point, like, how much time of your day do you spend worrying? If you sit down and think about it, is it 4 hours or 2 hours or 6 hours? Well, the next day, if you go back and look at it, like, did anything happen of that worry? Did anything change? And yet you were so upset for 6 hours out of your day and you don't get any of it back. And I was like, holy crap. Wow. Holy crap. So legitimately 99% of the time, if I worry, it is for nothing. The worry does not come true. The worry does not happen. The worry goes away. But I will worry about it. I will worry about it until the next worry comes for me, or I will worry about it until I know that that worry will not happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The only aspect I could see it helping is you do tend to be more prepared. You're prepared for if shit goes wrong.
And the only thing I will say with that is the worrying doesn't help, because at the end of the day, 99% of the time the shit doesn't go wrong, and yet I've prepared for the shit to go wrong so bad that, like, I've told people, like, if I die, this is what you need to do. If I lose my job, you go to the extent. Mm-hmm. Like, I worry. I don't just worry about what's going to happen today. I worry about what's going to happen in 10 years. So today, I have to make sure every single one of these bills gets paid, because if something happens to me in 10 years, what's Ryan going to do? Like, so for me, that is not good. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm not laughing at you either.
Yes, you are, and it's okay, because it's a good laugh. Like, it's funny, but it's the truth. I don't worry about today. I worry about my what if is, what if that happens tomorrow? What if that happens in 5 years? What will happen 10 years down? If that happens today, what will that cause 10 years down the road? What will be the aftermath of that 10 years later? That's my worry.
You have an apocalyptic level of worrying.
Yes.
Oh, Tiff.
Yep.
Well, I have one more question, and this is straight from Aria. And it is, she's looking for easy ways that you have found to manage your worries.
Oh, those are good. Those are really good. So, one way I have found to stop my worrying is when I get super, super worried and I know that it's bothering me and I can't let it go, I like to listen to music. The music distracts me. I put my earbuds in and I turn my music up full blast because it's just blasting in my ear, and I listen to my music because that distracts me, and then I sing and I dance and I forget about what I'm worrying about because I'm dancing and listening to the music. So I've done that. I love to clean. Cleaning is my big stress, worry reliever because, again, I'm preoccupied. So it's a lot of preoccupying my time to keep me from worrying.
Typically, you do that with your music on.
Yes, I clean with my music on. But that is a huge one for me. I have found a lot of times if I'm worrying too much and it's late at night or I'm gone someplace, the deep breaths. Smell my lotion that's on my hands. And my counselor actually gave me that. If you're worrying, smell something. Always have a candle lit. Be able to take that deep breath because it just helps, settle you down.
Helps center you.
Yep. So I like to smell stuff. That way I can take a deep breath. I like the music. I know Aria knows I like the birds. And I don't know if she likes them, but I guess I encourage her to try to find something little that she likes. I like the birds because I'm an animal person, so it's kind of my thing, but they're all different and they're cute. And because I love the animals, I like it. But I have said many times, it doesn't matter if I'm worrying. It doesn't matter if I'm upset. It doesn't matter if I'm hurt. It doesn't matter if I'm angry. As soon as I see one of my birds, I'm instantly happy and everything goes away and I can move on. So it's really trying to just find the little things that can preoccupy me that I enjoy.
So you found healthy coping mechanisms to take you away from those negative thoughts.
Correct. I have to get away from the negative thoughts or the negative thoughts don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer I let the negative thoughts stop or go and the worrying go, the worse the worrying is and the worse it is for me to control it.
It's a spiral.
So, yes.
I have to stop her from her spiral all the time if I can catch her.
I will snowball.
And I call it that. Babe, you're spiraling.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes. He will say that.
It's almost like a loop, an out of control loop where it's just she doesn't stop and it's just more intense every single time, and that's what her worry is doing. And it's
I feed the worry. I'm feeding it constantly.
Exactly.
And I know it, and it's terrible, and I can't control it, and it sucks. It sucks so bad, and I cannot help it until I either talk about it or realize that it's so bad that I'm okay, I just have to find something. I have to find something else to do right now, and I just have to go do it, and then I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of.
I'll frame a question another way for you too.
Okay.
To go along with it. How do you recognize worry? Maybe this will help lead into more ways you deal with it. because you've talked about how you've started to notice that you're worrying. Or
How do you
I've
become more
pointed
aware
out.
of it?
Right. So how
guess-
have you become more aware of it?
I guess my worrying, and I would probably maybe assume Aria's worrying would be a lot like mine, where it is not just the worrying, but it's the anxiety and the worry in together. So I can usually tell when I'm worrying too much because my anxiety will get up. Like, I can feel that I'm antsy. I can feel that I'm pacing the house. I can feel that I'm getting jittery. I can feel that, like, my heart's starting to race, and I'm just, my brain is going 100 miles an hour. 1 minute I'm thinking about doing the dishes, and the next minute I'm thinking about how I'm mad at Ryan. Just using you because you're right here, babe, and I don't want to throw anybody else under the bus. So we're just going to chalk it up to you.
It's all good.
But, so I really have to...
So when that starts happening, yeah, what do you do?
I really have to try to pay attention more to the anxiety, because the anxiety feeds the worry. And if I can keep my anxiety under control, I can keep my worrying under control.
How do you stop that anxiety from taking over? Are there any other ways? Like you said cleaning and music, but is there, or you said deep breaths. But yeah, when you get to that moment where you say, holy crap, okay, I need to stop, what do you do?
There are times
any other
that
things you do?
I truly just say, like, I need to stop for a minute.
Oh, you said you go watch the birds.
Yeah, I do. I will walk outside and watch the birds, just because I'm like, I have to just get away for 1 minute. No matter what it is, if I'm home and I feel like my anxiety and stuff is gonna get high, or I'm worried about stuff, like, going outside is my escape, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Where I have to physically walk out of the house to eliminate that anxiety, or as long as I'm in the house, I'll just continue to feed it. Like, I just have to leave it. And
Yeah.
so, if I'm anxious in the house, I try to go outside. If I'm anxious when I'm at work, I just try to get up and walk away from my desk. You know what I mean? Where, like, if I would be anxious, yeah, so, like, stuff like that. Like, if I get anxious at work right now, I actually have a little sticky note on my desk that says, I don't do chaos. I can't do it anymore. I cannot sit at work and be worried about if I'm going to have a job tomorrow, and if I'm working fast enough, and if I got this done, when, like, at the end of the day, I work my ass off. Like, I can't do it. So when I feel like that, I look at my computer and I have to say out loud, where maybe, like, Aria's looking, for example, go to your bedroom. I've told the kids before, go to your bedroom and just say, like, shit, that sucks. Like, you got to say it, get it out. You know what I mean? Where mine is, I don't do chaos. And I get up and I walk away from my computer. I walk out into the kitchen. I look out the slider. I take a deep breath and I say, okay, let's go do this again. And I can walk back in and my anxiety's gone. But if I don't, my whole day, my heart is racing. I'm typing as fast as I can. By the time work's done, I'm like, oh my God, for what? You know what I mean? Because I didn't catch it. So I guess that's an example. And yeah, I've said that to the kids, like, get it out. Like, when I feel anxious, I have to get that out. So I've even, like I said, tell the kids that, go to your bedroom. For quite a while, I had one of those damn it dolls or whatever. And it wasn't just for when I was angry. It was for everything. And the kids had it, like, get those feelings out. And I guess that's probably the biggest thing I've learned is the more I hold them in, the worse they are.
Yeah.
The more I get them out, the better they are. The more I open up to Ryan, the better I'm getting. And I don't mean to say that bad, but I'm not one to talk about me. I'm not, you know what I mean? So now I'm just now starting to open up and talk to Ryan and tell him, like, these are things that I'm feeling and these are things that I'm going through, where 13 years ago, I would have never done that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just internalize it and keep it to yourself and worry about it.
Correct. Where I will say that is 100 times worse, because you learn how to feed it. And I guess that's, the longer you learn how to feed it, the easier it is to feed it, the harder it is to stop feeding that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You had mentioned before that sometimes you just need to vent about what you're worried about. So you just need to talk about whatever you're worried about. If you do that, how often do you, I guess, vocalize your concerns, vocalize what you're worried about, and think, as soon as it comes out of your mouth, like, that's ridiculous. Why the hell am I worried about this?
For me, yes, I have said that quite a few times. Does it make it go away? Nope. Not at all.
Okay.
Like, that worry does not go away until either the worry is over and I no longer have to worry about it, or until I can...
Because the event has passed?
Correct.
Okay.
Or... Yeah, no, that worry doesn't. Just because it's ridiculous and I know it's ridiculous, I still worry about it.
There's still the 0.0001% chance that something like that would happen. So you're going to continue to worry about it.
My life is what if.
Mm-hmm.
What if? What if? What if?
That's the mantra that Aria has lived by for so long, that I have tried to break her of, because it is the most frustrating thing ever. Well, what if this happens? Like, what if? If it happens, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But there's
and
no
what are the
sense
chances
in
of that happening?
Yeah, like that's never going to happen, so why even worry about it?
Exactly.
I will say in Aria's defense right now, like, I know that worry, and I know that you guys try to help us, but that's where I can say I get frustrated with Ryan, because he will say, like, okay, and what if? And
everything will be okay.
And so from my point of view, and I promise you Aria's point of view too, because like we are a lot alike in not so many ways. When you say, okay, what if? I take that as shitty, because I'm legitimately worried. And you're just like, okay, and what if? Get over it. Like,
you're
at
blowing
the end
it
of the
off.
day, like, fuck you. I'm truly worried, and you just want to be an asshole. Like, okay, now I'm done telling you about my worries. I shut down and get crappy, because it's like, I get you don't think this is anything, but I'm telling you this is how I feel. So, like, okay, what if? Like, see, I get mad about it. So that's a hard one for me. I have gotten better about expressing when I'm worried and expressing when I'm just venting because I'm mad about something, because those are different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yep.
And I probably don't talk a lot about worries, because I very much get every single day, okay, and what if, Tiff? And what if? But my brain doesn't say what if. My brain has already went to, we've died, and where are our kids going, and who's keeping our house, and what if I lose my job? I am to the absolute worst. So it's hard for me to hear what if, because I'm in panic mode. I am truly worried.
And it frustrates me, because I know the longer she continues doing that, the longer she's going to continue to do that. Mm-hmm. At some point, she has to break the cycle, break the habit, and just say, I'm not worrying about this. There is no point in it. It's not going to happen. And the more she does that, the more she'll be able to do that. That's my mentality anyways.
And I will say, too, with this also, Ryan has gotten better because there has been times that my worrying has turned into a fight because I've taken it offensively because what if? And now I'm frustrated. I've put my head down. I have shut down. And those are things that we've had to talk about, where he is a lot better about sitting down with me and talking me through it. Like, okay, Tiff, what caused you to feel like that? Like, why are you feeling like that right now? Instead of just, okay, and what if? Stop worrying about it. Because when somebody just tells you, get over it and stop, it sucks. It truly, like, I'm instantly pissed. Like, you don't care. I'm being for real. Like, you can't tell me get over it, because I can't get over it. Like, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
I guess I just feel like worrying, much like a negative mindset, is just that, a mindset. You can break the worrying cycle. You can stop worrying.
You just have to train yourself, and it's
Exactly.
a fucking fight. It's not easy to do.
Right.
And that is it. Where, like, I'm working on ways to not worry, and I'm trying to figure those things out. But along the ways, he's had to make changes to help me work through those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he can't just say, okay, Tiff, what if? Because now you just, that feeds my what if almost. Like, I have to talk through it.
Right.
I need somebody to say, like, why are you upset because your friend didn't call you back today? Like, why do you care that they're mad at you? Did you do anything to make them mad at you? No, I didn't. Okay, then why do you think she would be mad at you? Well, I don't know, because she didn't call me back. Okay, but you know what I mean? Like, he has to talk me through that, or I'm upset with him, because in not so many ways it makes me feel stupid.
Yeah, I hear that.
And it's belittling. And I've told him that too. Like, and I'm not saying that mean towards Ryan. I'm just, he's my husband, so I live with him, and this is what we deal with, you know.
And I don't look at it like I'm not trying to.
He's not
force
trying
anything.
to belittle or be
Yeah.
mean, and he says that, like, babe, I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm trying to help you, and I will
Point
say,
it out, identify it, stop it. Like, that's just how my brain works, though. I'm just very systematic, logical, whatever the hell you want to call it. You identify the problem. Are you stopping it or what?
and I guess that's something Ryan's had to learn, just like an employee, and you guys talk about it, like, I'm not Ryan. My brain don't work like his does. He's had to figure out what works for me and what works for us, and how can he break me down to get me to open up and talk to help me through this. But I will tell you, by just telling her, like, what if, get over it, it does that. You're not helping. I
for
get
sure.
so mad when Ryan would say that to me. I instantly would just be like, okay, whatever, I'm done. Like, I would be mad. Like, and it is hard if you don't get, and you worry a lot, Joe, like you've said, you worry too. So, like, when you're not a worrier, you don't get what that feeling's like to worry. Ryan doesn't understand the feeling that I have all day long with my worrying. He doesn't have it. You know?
From the other perspective, though, when I was married, before I got married even, when I had found out that we were going to be parents and I had a kid on the way, and my ex, she was going to quit working, so she was going to be a stay-at-home mom and everything like that, and there were constant worries about how we were going to pay the bills, how we were going to make anything work. And I got to a point where the only answer I could give her was, you have to trust me. I can't do anything about all the worries that you have. I understand, but I'm already worried about all of it internally myself. I don't need the added worry on top of it, because all you're doing is showing me that you don't trust me and that you can't rely on me. And that as somebody who is trying to take care of a family and take that masculine role in the relationship, like, you have to trust me. And that's, I think, the most frustrating thing about when Arya pulls the what if card, or the constant worrying about silly things that she shouldn't be worried about. Like, sweetheart, you have to trust that I, as your father, am going to handle this. I promise you there is nothing to worry about, because I will be the one to take whatever happens off of your plate. I will be the one to face that, not you. You have nothing to worry about. And that was the same thing when I was married. I remember that. She would worry about so much shit. And there's nothing for you to worry about. I will take care of it. I will make sure bills are paid. I will make sure we have a house. We have a roof over our heads. I will make sure there's food on the table. No matter what it takes, I will make sure it happens. You need to stop worrying about it, because it doesn't help anybody. It just makes it more difficult. And that's the only, like, I get it from your aspect. Like, you just want to be acknowledged and everything, but it sounds almost like, and maybe I'm generalizing it too much, but from the perspective that I got from my ex, and from almost what it sounds like with you, is you feel like you still have to be prepared to face the world by yourself, and you can't rely on the people around you to just take care of you. And that might not be an outward, you might not say it or feel that way, but
and I can, and it's not a big deal at all, because Ryan and I have talked very openly about it, and I do think I do rely on Ryan. But I guess at the end of the day, there is always that I might have to take care of myself.
Because you've seen it and you've been put through it.
Well, I've lived on my own since I was 14. Like, I took care of myself. You know what I mean? I got married and took care of myself, and I got divorced and took care of myself. And, like, yes, I'm taken care of now, but I've always said very openly and very shitty, and I'm not going to deny it. Like, I'm with Ryan because I love him, not because I need him. At the end of the day, yeah, if I have to take care of myself, I will. But there is always part of you that does wonder, which feeds into the worry of, am I enough? Will he leave me? Will I be stuck with 2 kids and a house payment? And that part of that, I guess I would probably have to say, is just the trauma of going through it. You know what I mean? And it's not like we lived this great life where we had a ton of money and we just got divorced and moved on. Like, I struggled. You know, like, it sucked, but a part of me does always feel like I have to make sure I can take care of myself. And that does suck, and that has been something that Ryan and I have talked about, and he has said, like, it sucks that you don't break down those walls and just let me fully in to an extent. Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it
is that wall I keep up of, will I someday have to take care of myself? Do I have to, because that's what you said, like that. Yeah, probably some of it is.
It feels like you internally still feel like you're facing the world alone, regardless of the fact that when Ryan said that he loves you and wanted to marry you, he is choosing to walk with you through the world where you will never have to be alone. That's where it's hard from our perspectives. Like, I see that because I went through that. Like, when I tell you I love you and I want to be here with you, I will go through everything. I will go through hell and back with you. Nothing will stop me. I will always be there for you. But if you're made to feel like the people that you want to take care of don't trust you and can't rely on you to take care of them. At least for me, it made me feel insufficient as a husband personally, and that was hard.
I will say, with you saying that, I do always have that fear of, will I have to take care of myself? You know, deep down inside, do I have that fear of like, can I quit my job? Because what if? Here we'll play my what if. What if? What if in 5 years? What if? You know what I mean? Where I will hold myself back from that. But on the other hand, I will also say I do rely on Ryan. I do trust Ryan. I know that he is 100% loves me, has my back, will be the man in this. But that makes my worry worse because he is so good to me. I'm harder on myself to be a better wife for him. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So at
Which is ridiculous.
So at the end of the day, I just make it harder on myself because he loves me, I have to love him more. So it's not that I don't love Ryan, and I don't truly worry about ever having to take care of myself. I guess now that I sit here and talk about it, the first thing that I kind of think of and feel of is that, like, now I worry that I'm going to give him that life that I have, and I try even harder to never, like, he will never go without, his bills will never be paid, he will never have to struggle. Like, I guess I coddle him like he's my child and not my husband, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do it to be shitty. I do it because I love him. And at the end of the day, I truly work my ass off for him to have the best life he can have with me. So if I fail, I just have to, like, that's on me. I have to make sure this house is solid. I am the wife and mother, and I don't mean to take that away from him, but I guess I do because I feel very strong about that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I don't think I take it away from him, but I feel like I worry more about he will have that shitty life, and so I have to work harder to make sure he doesn't. I don't mean to take that manliness away from him, I guess. You know what I mean? Even though I probably do, because I still have to be in control of all of it. I guess it's
what?
Like, at the end of the day, I feel like I don't know. I don't know how to. I guess, yeah, I don't know if that answered it, Joe, but like you just, I don't worry about having to take care of myself at the end of the day. That is one thing I can't say I don't keep it tucked away in the back of my mind, like, oh yeah, maybe, like, what if that ever happened? But I will truly 100% say, and I've told you this before, I don't really worry about the what if because there is no what if with Ryan and I. So I don't have to worry about what if, even though, yes, deep down inside I worry about it because that's just me. I know there is no what if with us. But like I said, now I worry now that, like, he can never see us fail. He can never see us hit rock bottom. I have to work harder to make sure, like, I feel like I have to protect everybody. I don't know. I don't know. Did that answer any of it? I don't know.
It's just interesting that you take all of that on instead of, like, know that you don't have to take it all on. You don't have to take on the world alone.
He tells me that every day, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. That's my job. I am a wife and a mother. It is my job to take it on. It is my job to make sure that he has a good life and
There's
the kids
no sense worrying about it, though. That's...
Yes, but I will worry about it to make sure everybody is happy. Everybody's life is perfect. Everybody's life. And even at
goes
work.
so far as to try to predict my
Yes.
thoughts
Yes,
of what I'm thinking might make me happy.
yes. So I can do it before he tells me,
Yes.
because I just have to know. And I do it with the kids, and I do it with work, and I just, yep.
What if he told you that the only thing that would make him happy is if you would relax? Would that kill you?
Oh, yeah, it does. It drives me nuts, because then he's like, sit down, and I'm like, okay, did I sit down long enough? Can I get up and go now?
You start getting a nervous itch.
I do. I'm like watching the clock. Like, okay, I've played on my phone for 10 minutes. Am I allowed to go? Can I get out of timeout? The worrying sucks. It 100% consumes my life. Every single minute of my life.
Is it worth
I
it?
worry about. No, absolutely not. 100% it is not. Am I trying to control it? Yup. Some of it I do better at. Some of it I can't. Some days I can do it. Some days I can't. But it sucks. The worrying sucks.
Would it have helped? Do you think it would have helped if you found ways to manage it sooner? Like at your daughter's ages?
Yes. 100%. And that's why I said, like, I would do this, because I want to help somebody. And now, I mean, I'm 44. I'm so set in my ways, and everything's just habit. And I've trained my brain to do this for how many years? Like, hell yes, I wish I
Hope
would have.
everybody saw that. That's how women's ages work. At the beginning of this episode, she was 45. By the end of it, she's
Wait a
44.
minute. Am I only 43, though? I'm actually only 43.
Time's going backwards here.
Shut up.
This is how women's ages work, just for everybody out there.
I know.
We're an
And
hour
I'm-
and 16 minutes into this, and she's 2 years younger than she was when she started.
Because I just
This is-
round up for
this is
everything.
crazy.
I just round up.
You guys just saw it in real time.
It threw
Anyways.
me off because I knew you weren't 45.
I just rolled with it.
No, Joe, I absolutely wish I would have just even known the little things. I will say, too, like, and I didn't bring this up, like, we talked about the cleaning and the music and, like, the smelling stuff. I know you guys have talked a lot about the writing on the podcast. Rise brought it up a couple times, and I did do that. And I will say, like, I suck at... I'm busy enough that I can't make time for myself, which is stupid, and I get it, but something I'm working on. But anyways, I did write the other night, and I sat down, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to write about, whatever. And I think you guys were recording, and when I came back upstairs, I was like, I wrote 6 pages.
And what? What happened that night?
I will say that felt really good, and I slept all night. And with that being said, I don't sleep a whole lot. Like, we go to bed at like 11:30, and within an hour I'm up. And I am up at 1, at 2, at 3, at 3:30, and about 4 o'clock is when I actually go to bed. And then I get up at 7. That is every night, my whole life. I wrote that night, and I slept all night.
Really?
Yep, all night.
What'd you write about? Just thoughts, random stuff? Anything in particular? Things that
I
were
wrote
on your
about-
mind?
I wrote about everything. At first, I sat down, and maybe this might be something that would help Aria or whatever. I truly didn't know what to write about, and I told Ryan that, and he was like, just write whatever is going on. And it was a day that it wasn't the greatest day for me. Like, it was already kind of a crappy day. I wasn't feeling the greatest. I already had quite a bit on my mind that I was worried about. quite a bit had happened with work and everything. So it was like a good day to write. And I just sat down. I wrote about everything. I wrote about work. I wrote about the house. I wrote about cleaning the house. I wrote about Ryan. I wrote about how much I love Ryan. I wrote about how much I hate Ryan. I wrote about the kids. I wrote about what I love about the kids. I wrote about what the kids are bugging me about. I wrote just everything. And it just, none of it even made sense. Like 1 minute I would be like, Abby did this, this, and this, and this. And the next minute, I'm not even done with that sentence. And I'm like, oh, and I just thought about Ryan said, and I'm off to talking about Ryan. And it was 6 pages. 6 pages of just what I went from one to the next to back to talking about Jen to back to talking about work to it was 6 pages of just blabble. But it felt so good to get it off.
Which is probably everything that's in your head. On a constant, every second basis.
It was just like whatever popped in at that second is what I wrote about. And as I'm writing, the next thing popped in and I'm off to that. And I have told Ryan that before. Like, you guys laugh at me because you will say, Tiff, you just asked me 5 questions and I didn't even get to answer the first one. But like, that is how my brain goes. I'm off 10 steps ahead, and there's times that like I'll be talking and I'll say one thing and halfway through I'm talking about something else now because my brain's already off to the next one. So I just wrote. It felt good to talk about what was good. It felt good to talk about what pissed me off. It felt good to talk about what made me happy. It felt good to talk about what hurt my feelings, but at least I kind of just got it off and I didn't just sit there and stew on it, which then fed the anxiety, which then feeds the worry, which then feeds the shit show in my head, which just continues to feed it and feed it and feed it because it doesn't go away.
Did you feel more mentally clear when you went to bed? Did you have all those same worries going through your head, or do you feel like you were more at ease?
I was at ease.
How did you finish that night, though? That writing session? What did you do to the pages?
Oh, yes. So I wrote the 6 pages, and like I said, I wrote good and bad and everything, and that is one of my struggles with writing is I don't want all those little thoughts.
You're worried.
I'm worried. Yes, I am 100%. I am worried that, like, good or bad, I am human. If somebody reads what I write, what if, you know what I mean? And so that stopped me from writing because I want to be able to write whatever I'm feeling, whether it is good or bad or whatever, and not worry about the what if. That after I wrote those 6 pages, I burned them. And that felt even better because it was like, now they're off my chest. I went to bed with a clear head. I have burned them, which means everything that I wrote was gone. And I can truly say the things that I wrote about that were bothering me on my mind or worried about have went away. I don't have the worry of what if because they're burned. But yet I got it off my chest.
That sounds a lot like some advice that you gave me to give Aria in the last year or so that your lovely daughter learned.
What's that?
Didn't you say that she learned to write her thoughts or her worries and concerns down and then to cut it up and flush it down the toilet? Or rip it up and flush it down the toilet?
Yep. Jen actually, and that's what made me think of it was, Jen went to a therapist and it was because she was worrying, and the therapist sat down with her and on a piece of paper they had to write down all of her worries and she had to talk about them, and when she was done talking about them, they ripped them up and flushed them down the toilet because those worries are gone. And Jen said too, they don't come back. I have had 2 therapists tell me that anytime I have anxiety or I worry or anything, as much as I fight Ryan on the writing, I know he's right, because yes, they have said when you write, your brain has to say it. So like when you write, you're talking to yourself. So as you say it and write it down, it's like you're talking to somebody. So they've always said, write your feelings down, write your worries down, write why you're worried, write why you think it's stupid that you're worried, write, because then you get them off. And once they're off your chest, you can move on. But until you get them off your chest, you feed them. And you just continue to worry. And the worry then was the next worry. So the writing really is amazing.
I've tried to tell you. I just don't argue with you anymore.
Yeah, that's...
So yeah, the writing I really liked. The music I really like for that. The birds I really like for my worrying. Like, those are 3 things that have really, really kind of helped me out.
Ryan, you have any more questions?
Do you find you worry about certain things more than others? Or is it all generally the same?
It is all generally the same.
And
some worries...
Where is that on scales of 1 to 10? Where do you say most of your worries come in at?
I would say most of my worries probably come in at like a 3 or 4. Like, they're not a big deal.
That sounds like a healthy level of, like, you're aware of what's going on. You know that there's risks and everything, and you're aware of the risks, and that's about it. That sounds healthy to me. I mean, that's where, like, I'm very aware of every negative thing that could possibly happen, and I can prepare for it, but...
How many worries do you have going on at one time?
100. So there's the problem. I don't just have one worry that comes in that I'm only worried 2 or 3. I have 5 worries that are at a 2 or 3, and one worry might trigger it to be a 6. It all depends on what the worry is how bad I'm worried about it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was done.
Does one worry being escalated make other worries escalate? Or can you separate them?
Nope, they escalate. Once I escalate, I escalate.
So it's like hitting the panic button.
Yes.
Your whole system just freaks out at that point.
Correct, which is why I then have to go to Ryan and say, I'm freaking out. I'm done. I'm freaking out inside. I can't do this anymore because I've escalated it. If I don't, once I worry, I worry about everything. Once I can't stop that worry, I will feed into the next worry, and my whole day is a worry. And it will be over the stupidest thing ever. Like, did I remember to go to the grocery store on time? Who cares? That can disrupt my day. Did I make it to the grocery store? Did I get the dishes done? Did I get the bed made? That can disrupt my day. Are you kidding me? It's the bed. Do you know what I mean? Like, So I have to be very careful because, yes, I can snowball into just a complete mess of worry all day. I can pace the house and walk circles worrying. I can be doing the dishes and the dishwasher's open, and now I'm in the basement doing laundry and the dishwasher's still open, and now I'm in the bedroom and now the dishwasher's open and the top of the laundry's open and half of it started because I am worrying and I'm just running circles in the house. It's terrible.
Seen videos of that.
There's been times we've said, like, Ryan, you should make a TikTok of that. Like, do you know how funny that would be? But, like, truly, like, and it's not every day like that. Like, my normal days are just everyday worries and I function fine and life
But you're
goes
carrying
on.
how many of those every single day?
Right. Like I function and people would never know that I was a worrier unless you talk to me, and I seem to be a normal person, like, but
Unless you talk to me.
unless you talk to me.
Holy shit, that was crazy.
Well, she's a shit show.
Pretty much, yes. But
Oh God.
like, no, yeah, there is not a day that I do not get up and not have a worry. There is never, ever, ever a day in my life that I do not get up and have a worry. Whether it is just something as stupid as, will the dishes be done before Ryan gets home? Who cares? I'm just giving an example, but like that could worry me.
I was gonna say, God, you're making me sound like such a terrible person.
You're not, because you don't care about anything.
But Joe, I'll pose that question to you then. How many worries do you have? Do you carry with you on a daily basis?
While you're thinking, Joe, let me give you an example, a run through of my day. My day would be, I'm going to get up, and as soon as I get out of bed, I am in panic mode because I got to get up and make sure breakfast is cooked. And then I'm going to relax and go take a shower.
Which you don't.
Which I do not, but that is something that, like, I want to get up and do it. But I will,
But you don't need to worry about it.
but that will start my day out worrying, because if I don't get up in time, even though there is no time, this is what I do to myself. You know what I mean? So now I have to get up. I'm worried about that right away. Got to make sure it's done on time. Then I take a shower. Now I'm worried, okay, I got to get punched into work. Am I going to be late? No, I'm not going to be late. I'm sitting at my computer desk 10 minutes early. Am I going to be late? I have to click enter. Like, I will worry about that. Am I going to have computer problems? Is my computer going to shut down already? Okay, I'm punched in. Now I'm going to worry for the next 8 hours about how much work I'm going to get done, how many places I'm going to be pulled around, what we're having for dinner, what time Jen's going to be home, how many people are going to call me throughout the day. Now everybody's home, and now I have to worry about work is done. Okay, am I going to get the house cleaned? Does Jen got to go anyplace? Does Ryan need anything? Can I do this? And then I'm going to say at 10 o'clock, I'm done. My brain is done. I'm ready for bed. Like, every day is just what is next, because I have to make sure everything is like, I have to make sure every day I do everything perfectly, I guess. And that's probably, that feeds my worry.
So that, I think, that right there is where you and I are different. Like, I have all those
That's what I was wondering.
I have those same concerns. Like, sounds very much like we've talked in the past, where you have an internal schedule, and if your internal schedule gets fucked up, everything goes to hell. Which is something that we've talked about several times, and that's something that I've had to work through. But I know what needs to get done. I know what my non-negotiables are, I guess. The things that I have to do. I have to get kids up and going. I have to get to work. Once work's done, I have to get this stuff taken care of. Kids fed and in bed by a decent time, so we can either record this or I can get shit done. I have all of this stuff on my mind, but I don't worry about it as much anymore, because if it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. The only person that's going to be disappointed in anybody is myself. And do I need to beat myself up about it, or can I give myself a little bit of grace? I had a busy day. I had a lot of shit going on. Did I forget to do one thing? Yeah. Is it going to be there tomorrow? Yeah. And it's hard to fucking do. I hate leaving dishes in my kitchen when I go to bed. I hate knowing that I have a gym that I haven't finished and I've been trying to get done, and I have other things going on. Like, there's always shit to get done. There's always a to-do list. But I've had to learn how to allow myself to say, that can be done tomorrow. And if I slip up on this, it's not the end of the world. Sometimes I worry that my biggest concerns are how I'm showing up for my kids. That's where I worry the most anymore. Am I there for my kids the way that they need me to be there for them? Do I have everything taken care of for them so they're all taken care of and they're good? Outside of that, I got this. I've done life long enough that I know anything that comes up, I'm good. So I've learned the last couple of years to have faith in myself.
And I guess I struggle with, I am getting better about saying that will be there tomorrow. Whether it's work or friends or the housework, I am getting better a little bit. You caught that. I am getting a little bit better about saying it'll be there tomorrow, but that is hard for me. It is hard for me to call it a night when there's still stuff to do. And there is a lot of nights where Ryan will have to say, babe, it's 11 o'clock. Enough is enough. Let's go. And I'm like, but I still have. And he will be like, no. And that's where I'm hard on myself, because every night before I go to bed, I give myself the rundown of these are the expectations I set for myself to get done and accomplished throughout the day. And I can't if those aren't accomplished. I have failed. I do not fail. I am very...
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier. And you try to predict my thoughts to make me happy.
Yes.
Thinking I have these thoughts and expectations, and I've told you plenty of times, like, I tell you exactly what I mean. I'm a very literal person. I tell you exactly what I want. There's no hidden meaning.
Nope.
You don't need to dig into it. You don't need to try to figure out what I meant. I told you exactly what it is that will make me happy. That's all you need to do. But you still worry about, is that really enough?
Yes.
Did he really mean this?
And I do it with home life, and I do it with my friends, and I do it with work. I'm terrible at work. I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to be the best. I have to get it done. You know what I mean? And I'm like that at home. The house has to be clean. The kids have to be taken care of. Like, it's just, yeah. And if those things don't get checked off, I worry.
You're a very driven person, and you set a very high standard for yourself that you don't want to.
I will never let somebody down purposely. Yeah. Like, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to tell you that I am going to be a good mother, I am going to bust my ass to be a good mother. You know, if I'm going to be a good employee, I am a good employee. You're not getting half-ass out of me, and I guess that's probably the hardest thing is I try not to half-ass anything I do. I give it 100% all day long from the time I get up till the time I go to bed.
You've done all of this for 42 years now, right? That's how old you are? Are we 43. Down to 41?
Oh, yeah, I think...
Am I down to 40 yet? Hell yes, let's keep going. This is just getting better and better.
But you've been a mom for 20 years now?
Yep.
You've been a good mom for 20 years. You've been a reliable partner for at least 13 years. I'm sure you were a good partner in your previous marriage. I'm sure there's little things that everybody has to fix. You've been a dedicated employee. When can you have faith in yourself that you know that you're just going to show up and you don't have to worry about it because you know it's in you?
I don't know. That's why I'm getting my tattoo. Because I have to.
Yeah, when do you know that you are enough?
I have to, and that's my biggest struggle, and that's what I'm trying to work with. Like, I am enough, and I have to say that every day. And that was kind of like, I want to look at that, and sooner or later I have to. I'm hoping sooner or later, I guess I feel it. I got, because I don't know how else to say it. I'm hoping someday I feel it. I feel like I'm making changes to say I'm enough, like I said, by making changes to myself that I don't regret. Best thing I ever did, which then makes me want to work on other parts of my life and not be so unhappy and be so negative and worry about things. I'm hoping it all falls into place, Joe, because it's hard. It really is.
Yeah.
That was good though.
And at the end of the day, that is my biggest struggle is like, am I enough? Did I do enough? And that truly is a worry I have. Did I do enough? Did I do enough for the kids? Did I run them around? Are they happy? Like that, I will worry about that all day. Did I do enough at work? Am I going to get an email tomorrow? It doesn't matter what I do. It's never enough. And yet I physically, mentally, and emotionally can't give any more than what I am right now. And it's still not enough for me because I worry that it's never going to be good enough. And so I just try that much harder to be more because I'm not enough now.
I get that. I really do.
But yep. And so those are things that, like, that's my work right now of, like, I do want to feel like I'm enough. I'm sick of just saying it's everybody else. And I guess it kind of hit me a couple weeks ago, and this is pretty open, but, like, I said to Ryan, like, at this point in my life, I'm just wasted skin on earth. Like, is that truly what I feel about myself? I am just wasted skin on this earth. Like, is that really how shitty I feel about myself? But yet I try so hard every day. Like, I have to change. And yet, how do I expect everybody around me to be happy and think I'm a good person when that's how little I feel of myself? You know what I mean?
Because sometimes the best thing for you to say to somebody is no, and to set boundaries and to start just caring about yourself. And honestly, that probably you know how much joy it would bring me if you told me you couldn't watch my dog because you were going to do something else and you're prioritizing yourself.
Joe, I would never tell you that. I love that little girl.
Oh, I know, but you hear where I'm coming from. Like I would love to hear that. Like I'm
sorry,
you guys,
we're going away that weekend. I can't.
You guys are going on vacation this weekend, and I'm excited for you guys because you guys deserve it. You deserve that time off. And
I am excited about going on vacation, and this is the second time, and I truly love it because I don't worry. This is the time. And last time we went, I said that to Ryan. I don't worry about the dogs. I don't worry about the housework. I don't worry about work. I don't worry about anything. I am just on vacation with my husband, living it up, spending time together. And last time we came home, I cried and I was like, this has been great. It's been 20 years and I've never not had to worry. And I just didn't have to worry for 5 days. And I don't want to go back to reality. Like, I'm so excited to get away again because as long as I am home, I am always in worry mode because I am a wife, a mom, an employee, a whatever.
You have all these expectations.
Because I'm home.
Expectations that she places on herself.
Correct.
Right.
And that everybody tells me they're ridiculous. Nobody expects them. The kids even tell me, like, Mom, you don't need to do that. Mom, you don't need to do that. But I do it. And I have to. And even if they tell me not to, I do it. And I do it with my friends. And I do it at work. You know what I mean? Like, they'll say, you don't have to do that. No, it's okay. Let me know what you need. I'll do it. And then I'm like, holy crap, I can't keep up, but I just do it. I got to take it all on. Those are expectations I put on myself to be perfect, I guess. Do you know, I guess at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Try to be perfect, but you already are perfect. You're perfect just the way that you are. You really are. Every single thing about you is just perfect. Nothing needs to change. But we're all in it to support you if you want to change, and we're here for that, you know?
And that's where I said to Rye, like, I'm okay with doing this episode because we all need change. And I know I'm changing. I know I'm working on things. I know I'm getting better, but I can talk about them and still say I struggle with them. But the worrying sucks. It does. So for Arya's sake, I hope she can learn not to, because I wish somebody would have noticed it or cared at her age that I don't live this life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 40 now. I'm only 40 now, but like as somebody in my 40s, like, it sucks to truly sit here and talk about how crappy you feel every day and cry because the worrying takes over your life so much. You know what I mean? And as her being my niece and even my kids, like, I don't wish this upon anybody. I don't wish anybody to live the life of just worrying, because it truly consumes my life. I will spend, Joe, do you know how many times we have not went on vacation because I worry?
No, but I know how the last vacation went because you were worried.
Like, truly, there has been times
Well, yeah, and that's a completely different conversation
But it's
with what the
just
worrying does, too. I mean,
the
we talked
worrying-
about negative energy and everything else, but that's completely separate anyways. Carry on.
The point being is, like, the worrying truly controls my life. It controls when I do stuff, because I will overthink it and worry about it. So that will keep me from going places. It will keep me from meeting new people. It will keep me from having fun.
Turn the car around.
It will keep me from literally doing everything but sitting in this house worrying. And I don't wish that upon anybody.
Right.
Like, it sucks. The what if, to play this what if game all day long, and dude, I can spin it into so many different unbelievable twists. It's ridiculous.
The spiral.
I don't wish it upon anybody.
It's the spiral.
Yup. And it's even little things like what I wore today. I can worry about that. Do you know how many times I don't buy something because I'm worried about what somebody will think, what somebody will look at me like? Oh, guess what? I'm still a mom. I can't wear that. I'm a mom. Well, okay. And like everything.
Who knows that?
Exactly.
Who the fuck knows that you're a mom? And whose mom?
But I'm just saying, like, the worrying controls all the way down to the little things of, what am I going to wear today? It can go from what I'm going to wear to it keeps me from actually enjoying life. It is that ridiculous.
And it's never been worth it.
Never. Because at the end of the day, I have worried and worried and worried and have not done or cried or been more stressed out about whatever the worry was for the worry to never, ever happen. But I worried about it.
Yeah, and think about the aches and pains you've had throughout the years and how much some of them have gotten better with the reduced stress load you carry.
That is the truth.
So you have
Through
less
the years
chronic
of working
pain.
and working and working and working.
Yes. I've had terrible back problems for years, and now it's to the point that, like, my back very seldomly hurts anymore.
And yeah, stress has to play a part in all of that.
Yep.
Maybe not all of it, but certainly some.
I mean, I'm not a big person, and so the stress can play into effect with my eating, which has then affected, like we said before, it's affected me to not eat, which has then caused me to lose weight, which then causes me more worry and more stress because I can't gain the weight back, which is then another worry because I am so sick and tired of hearing about how skinny I am. I can't help it. I can't help it. I eat but it's just the worry never, it's one thing after another after another. You know what I mean? But yeah. And none of it's worth it. Did anybody even see me today to care what I wore? Nope. But that could stress me out. You know what I mean? Like, it just little things where everything can turn into a stress and absolutely not worth my time at all. I will probably say that 75% of my shitty days are because I have worried and I have brought them on myself. How crappy is that? You have a bad day? Yep, I did that to myself. That sucks. But I've truly done it to myself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm really, really, really trying right now hard to take a step back. I am trying to not complain about the worries like I used to not feed into them. And I'm trying to look at the birds. Something, I'm just trying, because at this point, I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm done. I've done my 40 years of it, and I'm over it. I don't want to do this till I die. I'm sick of how I feel. You know what I mean?
It's certainly not going to help you stick around any longer with me.
No. I've said that before even, too. Like, do you know how many times I've had worries that have caused panic attacks that have caused me to think I'm going to have a heart attack? Over what? Nothing? Nothing at all. I can spiral.
Up to and including having me take her to the hospital at 2 a.m.
for a panic attack because I worry. I wake up in the middle of the night about every hour, and it is like a dead wake up right out of bed. For what? To go pee? Like, I am worried all day. You know what I mean? Which is why Ryan's like, the writing helps, because then I don't wake up in those panics. But all day long, it's just a worry. It's just, even if I don't even know I'm worrying, I feel inside my guts that I am just a wound banjo that's worried and ready to explode.
Yeah.
Do you even know what you're worried about at that point?
You don't know what you're worried about, and there's days that I don't even know what I'm worried about, but there's very few days that I just feel calm and relaxed and I'm just living life. I guess, does that make sense?
There's other days where you wake up and you just feel like something's off and something's wrong, so then you spend the entire day trying to figure out what the hell's not right. Like,
yep.
Who did I upset? What did I do? What did I do wrong in the last couple of days that might make me feel like this? What happened?
Yep.
Yeah, I get that. Well, we're 2 hours into this conversation.
Are we really?
Oh my God.
We are.
I'm so sorry.
Don't be. I've enjoyed this. I enjoyed talking to you.
I enjoyed it.
I do want to say, like, you are enough. We love you. I love you. Everything that you do is enough. And I want you to know that. Like, you're a wonderful mom. You're a very loving and caring and present wife and sister-in-law and a friend. And I want you to know that.
Thanks, Joe. It means a lot.
And thank you for doing this episode, because I think it's going to help a lot of people. It's going to help, hopefully, Aria. And I'm sure it's going to help other people. So we can
I hope it does.
Yeah. We'll quick recap kind of some of the coping mechanisms that you have mentioned, and I think we'll sign out from there. So I have, you said deep breaths and smelling things to help center yourself.
Yep.
Listen to music.
Yep.
Find healthy coping mechanisms. like cleaning or an interest in birds for you, and to write down your worries and burn or flush them.
Yes. That really seems to be probably the biggest thing that helped me the most. Just to recap, the writing truly got rid of the feelings for me, where like the music is maybe just a band-aid. So I really do like the writing. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. So thank you guys for having me on here. Like, I've enjoyed it. It's been a good talk. I'm hoping I have helped somebody. If not, at least maybe Aria. And I hope that little girl knows if she ever wants to talk to me, she's got my number. I would love to just anything. If she just needs to talk, she can call me.
Mm-hmm.
I will help her with anything. Anything.
We know that.
So,
We appreciate that.
you got anything, babe?
No, thank you. Thank you for being on this week. I know it took a lot for you to do this. And yeah, you did share a lot. So we appreciate it. I'm hopeful the audience is appreciative as well for how open you were. So thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, I don't have anything else other than don't forget to follow us on social media. We are Just Two Brothers Podcast. Recaps, all kinds of content coming out daily, all throughout the week. So, she's Tiffany. Thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.